ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today. Paulie Massimino wins the Wisconsin.
Karting isn't just speed. It's control, precision, freedom. At Atlanta Motorsport Park, Kart Freedom isn't just a team. It's where drivers are made.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to IndyCar and NASCAR with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and 0 sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Who the f is Kyle Cuthbertson? Doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson through on Turney. Turney in the dirt.
Shop, we deliver professional-grade simulators with the best performance-to-price ratio in the industry. Founded by racers who understand what you need, our SimMagic and Moza equipment is powerful enough for the pros, yet affordable for everyone. With unmatched customer support and a thriving community, we're your racing partner. Visit simshop.com today.
Hey guys, I'm Chris G. I'm Kart Chaser's driver fitness coach, and today I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to strengthen your shoulders for more endurance and better stability in the kart. Here we go. Okay, so exercise number 1 is the front rope pull-through cable raises. Okay, now this is the upright cable row. What you are doing here is you're picking a straight bar, as you see, and we're working the side areas of our shoulders, the medial. Exercise number 3, the dumbbell shrugs. As you guys can tell, I like to pause at the top before releasing. It's great for your strength, for that wheel stability. It's great for those shoulders and that upper back area. Chris G coaching, race-ready training that carries into real life. That's what we do here. See you on the next one.
Are you stuck with your kart racing? Not sure the ideal kart setup? Or going to a track for the first time? Well, Kart Class has the answers for you. Our online portal has a wealth of experience and knowledge to help your kart racing. From kart setup advice to track guides that are targeted specifically to your circuit, or the driver coaching aspect with mindset, racecraft and driving techniques. If you want to take your karting to the next level, visit us at kartclass.com.
You know, I'm really starting to like this go-karting thing.
Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, can I show you this cute dress I just got?
Yes, of course. Oh my goodness, it's so cute.
I just love shopping.
I love shopping too.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, did you guys say you like shopping?
Of course.
Well, dude, I have the perfect place to do that at. ShopPayKara.com. At ShopPayKara.com, you can get free shipping on orders $200 or more. You can get anything you want, like MXC rims, gloves, rib vests, shoes, anything that you need, all at ShopPayKara.com.
Who is he talking to?
No idea.
But we're gonna have to check it out. Sounds like a great deal.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and zero sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
This is Henry. Henry feels sad. Henry feels sad because it's time for his next big race and his go-kart is in bits. Henry doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing is the United States' #1 shop for all of your karting equipment needs. Henry also doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing can deliver anything from tires to race suits and even wheels directly to your front door or to the racetrack itself quickly and efficiently, with tech support available 6 days a week. Poor Henry doesn't even know that Acceleration Kart Racing offers free shipping to mainland USA on selected product if you spend $200 or more. Do yourself a favor. Go to accelerationkarting.com and make sure that you are never left stuck on the pre-grid with Henry. Be smart and don't be like Henry.
Welcome to the future of kart race preparation, Kart Sim Pro North America. Featuring laser-scanned North American kart circuits and precision-tuned kart physics developed using real telemetry, dyno and tyre data, Kart Sim Pro North America delivers the most advanced and realistic kart simulation experience available today. Whether you're training for race day, refining your lines, or shaving tenths off your personal best, Kart Sim Pro gives you pro-level insight without leaving your home. Trusted by world champions, coaches, and karting enthusiasts alike, this is where virtual practice translates into real-world performance. Experience the thrill, the challenge, and the edge. Kart Sim Pro North America. Use code CHASER20 to get 20% off today.
Gee, looks like we're missing the engine. What the hell am I supposed to tag?
What do you mean? It's my Greyhound. It's all I need.
Where's the rest of it?
It doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
You gotta make weight. Okay, you're good.
Sitting by here with Kyle, our race winner. Tell me how you did it. You were blazing fast out there, and I mean, you don't even have a go-kart, man. Tell me about it.
Yeah, you know, Norberg, Schmorberg, the Greyhound-powered Greyhound was great today. You know, it makes the difference. And the team's been working really hard back at the shop, and, you know, just shout out to Greyhound.
Thank you, Kyle.
How the f did you just win?
Doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
got me down again.
it's time to go qualifying for the first time in 2026. To those of you at home, to those of you in and around the paddock, welcome back to the Texas Sprint Racing Series. A new year and new opportunities for a number of drivers in the field here this weekend to try and break out on the regional scene. And this is, again, we've been a long, it feels like a long time, but it's only been 146 days since the closing round of the 2025 championship. And we were over at the Dallas Karting Complex over in Caddo Mills. But this weekend, we're just a little over 200 miles from that, 4+ hours away at the beautiful Speedsportz Racing Park that we've seen a whole lot to start off the year in 2026, more than I think we've seen it on a racing calendar ever, Hunter. And again, good to have you with us here this weekend. As always, my name is Caleb Vieska. Hunter Bolton going to be joining me here this weekend for the opening round of the Texas Sprint Racing Series. Hunter, this year feels a little different. New faces and 190 plus have joined us here for the opening round.
Yeah, we got a good entry count for this weekend. It's going to be a good time. Dusty Strader's been doing really good so far this year, looking to get another win under his belt.
And again, he was able to be competitive and put himself up at the front when you look back at the SCUSA Winter Series. And we'll be talking a lot about that because, again, we're here in the state of Texas and we're back at the place where that preseason kind of took place for Super Karts USA. And this is, their regional series. Drivers here at the end of certain championships get the opportunity to go to Las Vegas, Nevada at the end of the year at the Super Nationals for their 29th edition this year. So that's a cool prize and cool awards. But yeah, like you mentioned, right, we've already seen a lot of these drivers kind of take place and take part of other races throughout the nation, throughout the country. And it's cool to have them back here with us on the regional level. And like you mentioned, right, already a couple that we've seen to start off the year. Dusty Strader is one of those. He's on his Paralyn on a privateer operation with a couple of the Paralyn staff here helping him this weekend. Shep Sullivan, another one that we've seen. He was had a really good pace when we were over at the Dallas Karting Complex to close off the year. And he's back here this weekend with us. Bodie Byer right ahead of him for MSL Racing CRG. He's with us here this weekend, and we saw a lot of him. He put himself in the top 3 for the majority of the weekend over at the SCUSA Winter Series. Bad luck, and luck didn't go his way at the end of it. But again, we've seen a lot of them, and we're going to see a lot of new drivers, a lot of new faces. And myself being a Houston local, seeing the drivers from the club scene here often and seeing them come into a regional level. And for them, this is a new experience, right? Usually at a club level paddock, and Hunter, you can attest to this, you have maybe 100 to 120, and you come out to a regional race like this, the biggest regional series in the nation, and you have 16 drivers in the class. That's a little different than what you see at the club level.
Yeah, at the club level, in like these classes, you don't see a whole lot of entries. You maybe get 10 on a good weekend. So they're getting a lot more competition this weekend and seeing new faces that they don't see at their club races throughout the year.
And talk about that change as well, from going from a club level and now into a regional level. It seems like the stakes are almost just a little bit higher, right?
They are. You get more drivers in there, faster guys come down. Like Dusty Strader, he was super fast at SCUSA Winter Series, and he's still racing this regional series. So a lot of these local guys are seeing new faces and faster guys throughout the year.
Yeah, and again, new markers, right? New benchmarks to try and chase down. The benchmark that everybody's chasing right now is currently the 251 of Bo Wyatt on the Bennick machine. He's faster than the rest of the field, 59.133, and this is qualifying. And this is, again, one lap. Well, they have 5 minutes to set in the fastest lap they can to put themselves on the pole position to start on that inside row when we get into heat racing action. And again, that's where they're going to start all 3 of their heat races here. It's not progressive, stagnant, and average points finishes at the end of the 3 heat races puts you in your starting spot for the main event. A couple of other youngsters, last year's 2025 Kid Kart champion, moving up to the micro-slip division, Vettel Baker, to make his first start of the year. And he had a promising pace this weekend, looking for a little bit more. He's currently down in 12th. And it seems like just track position, right? When you talk about qualifying, putting yourself in a good position, try and set in a fast lap. As now checkered flag flies, and Bo Wyatt still fastest. Strader a little bit further back, couldn't find that extra 10th to try and go faster than Bo. Cohen Scott in 3rd, Bodie Byer to Shep Sullivan, your top 5, Rodolfo Garza, JJ DeShong, Hartford Ellis, Vettel Baker, Cairo Ahmad, and Enzo Vizcaino in 11th. But that's it, the first pole sitter of the year, the 251 of Bo Wyatt with the fastest lap of a 59.134. 3. And again, already stories coming up, right? Track position, putting yourself in prime position in good track space to set in the fastest lap possible. That's all you need to start on that inside line for all 3 of those heat races.
Track position is going to be big with that long straightaway coming down into 6. That's huge draft right there. If you have a good start your lap 5, 6 car lengths behind a guy, get good draft going on that straightaway, that could be a difference between pole and not pole.
And then you have those awards given out, the call it out almost a I don't know, call it a Yeti style cup, and again they get them for each round. So Bo Wyatt, thumbs up. He's your first pole sitter on the year, and you see all the other kiddos on the fence line already. Want to know where they ended up, where they finished. And again, the level of competition gonna rise throughout the year. But first one of the day done. Coming up next year in a couple of moments, your Mini Swift class. Mini Swift hits the racetrack. 17 drivers have joined us here this weekend for the opening round. Ace Lasek in the 101 returning here with Iron Rock Motorsports out of Magnolia, Texas. Landry Bridges, Max Santana. We saw a whole lot of Max to start off the year on the Bennick. Took part of the SCUSA Winter Series, and he's taken part of a lot of races here stateside. This year, the driver hailing out of San Pedro Garcia Nuevo León, Mexico. He's joining us here for his first start in Texas Pro Racing Series action. Kimo Ahmad, we've seen a lot of him. He's one of the drivers who, again, local here, and I've seen him grow up and race through the ranks from Kid Kart to now into the Mini Swift division. And when you talk about a driver like Kimo Ahmad, right, a new program for him over with KidX USA. They're taking part here and doing almost everything in the year. Spoke to his dad Mo, and he was telling me they've been busy. They were over in Florida when we were there last or 2 weekends ago for the opening round of the Florida Karting Championship. So Ahmad was out there and had a good weekend, but again, now returning to the Texas Racing Series for him. You look at the Winter Series as well. He was always in the conversation being the fastest, and it seems like more often than not, he was having to work his way through that field time and time again to put himself where he knew he could be. One of the other biggest movers in this field, Brody Stoffel, last year's champion in Micro Swift. We've seen him as well. He races here with Kart CRG on the regional level, and he's returning here. And when you look back to the end of last year at DKC, he put on the pole in his first start, moving up just one race early, and again, took to it like nothing. Dutch Westbrook returned here as well in the 130, and we've seen him, you know, time and time again, Grand National Champion, so on and so forth here, Hunter.
Yeah. Very intrigued to see how this weekend goes, because obviously a lot of the guys that were up front in this class last year all moved up to junior this year. So a lot of the guys that weren't quite in the conversation last year, they have a new chance to get that. But also talking about Brody Stoffel moving up, he's looking at putting on the top step. First, technically second weekend in this class at TSRS, looking to put on that top step and get another championship this year.
Yeah, you look back to how the Winter Series went as well for Brody Stoffel. He was in the conversation for the championship until the end. Him and teammate Jake Manalio were going at it back and forth throughout the year. He was able to win round 4. Just wasn't enough. Manalio was able to get a better points finish. But when you talk about those rookies moving up, right, this is, again, for him, I mean, already has a preseason under his belt, but again, look at a pickup where he left off last year with championships, a SCUSA Pro Tour championship for Brody Stoffel, and looking to do the same here on the regional level. Nonetheless, though, very good point that you made, right? A lot of drivers like Alex Chandler and like Clayton Stiles have moved up now into the junior ranks, as well as a couple of more. But again, like you said, it gives those younger drivers that were maybe a little bit younger last year, gives them an opportunity to, now with that year of experience under their belt, with regional racing action under their belt, able to kind of break through on this regional scene and on this platform as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what those guys can do this weekend. Obviously, the competition hasn't got any easier with guys like Brody Stoffel. Timo Ahmad's been doing great this year too, so it's still.
Him and Timo Ahmad, the parents took to Facebook post, and they've been road tripping around the U.S. They were over in Florida a couple of weeks ago, now here this weekend. So all these kiddos have been super, super busy. And for those that have been kind of in the club scene here in the state of Texas, or even around, I've heard a lot of people coming out of Kansas and more places. You know, one of the biggest cities everyone want to take part. Kansas, coming down, Oklahoma, always with the High Five Performance team, and a couple of more working their way down here. But with less than a minute, I should say, to go in this qualifying session. Brody Stoffel currently fastest, 58.447. Max Santana's right behind him in that second spot. His best lap is at 58.614. Then Ahmad, who's third. Mace Lasek and Polo Santos for your drivers inside of that top five. Further back, Aiden Wash, Jensen Willander, Dutch Westbrook, Liam Astalis, and Marshall Steves. That's currently your top 10 here. And this group right here, that's Willander. They're going back and forth here, just looking for a little bit of position. And again, as we're getting close to the end, these drivers are about to complete their final lap. Checkered flag should fly this time by, and Stoffel's going to be the first one to take it.
It's not what you want to see in qualifying, dialing for position. It's just slowing you guys down throughout your lap. It's not what you want to see. You want to get a good, clean lap to try to get the fastest lap you can throughout the qualifying section.
And here we go, last quarter for this group, but across the line, Stoffel improves a 58.443. Everybody else going to be looking to go a little bit better, and nobody's going to improve. Santana, Mace Lasek out of nowhere in the 101, just caught up to that group, and the perfect timing for Lasek and Iron Rock Motorsports, a 58.383 to take the pole position. And Mini Swift going to start from that inside line for all three of the heat races. Stoffel crosses the line second. Dutch Westbrook improved into a 58.5. Not enough. He's going to start third later on today with Max Santana. Kimo Ahmad, your top five. Polo Santos, Aiden Wash, Jensen Willander, Sebastian Sampson, and Ayitayo Olisa. Quick commercial break from our side. When we return, more qualifying action getting set to come your way from Speedsportz Racing.
Macro Motorsports builds champions every day, drivers who won on the world stage. The Tillotson T4 Series is pure spec racing. Same engine, same chassis. When you win, it's because you were the best that day. Your edge is not the kart, it's the setup, the strategy, and the race team. With our Arrive and Drive program, you simply bring your gear, we provide the equipment and the championship-winning support to every event. Stop wrenching, start racing. Your path to the T4 Nations Cup in Spain starts with us. For more information, contact us at macromotorsports.net.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today. Paulie Massel gets win #1 in OKN Stars.
On track or off, Brandon Jarsekrak Racing delivers elite performance. Led by four-time Pro National Champion Brandon Jarsekrak, our team masters driver coaching, data-driven analysis, and mechanical precision at every national event. Contact us today at BrandonJarsekrakracing.com.
Karting isn't just speed. It's control, precision, freedom. At Atlanta Motorsport Park, Kart Freedom isn't just a team. It's where drivers are made.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to IndyCar and NASCAR, with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or
trouble to get the qualifying started for one driver. The air filter coming off of their Tillotson machine here to get things started. You kind of attested to this a little earlier on in the day here, Hunter. This is, again, a new class, new opportunity, and a new look here in the state of Texas. I haven't seen many Tillotsons outside of the state of Florida, but here this weekend in partnership with McCrone Motorsports, we have them, and we're racing here at the Texas Sprint Racing Series, and again, 9 drivers total taking part in this, and gives the opportunity for a lot of drivers to do double duty, get you know, more track time, and as well, and potential to earn the ticket to the finals at the end of the year when they go back to Spain this year. But it's a great opportunity for a lot of drivers, and this weekend joining us for his first start stateside, Joe Bechtold out of Amsterdam, Netherlands, and he's been to the World Finals, I guess you could say, for starting services tent with Tim Lowball and teammate Reagan Seville. But you can see Joe out here already kind of getting comfortable, and the team as well getting comfortable with Joe, joking around earlier, calling him Joe Turney, right? Just easier to say Turney than Bechtold, if you will. But Austin Garrison under the tent there, coach everyone. And have you? I've never drove Tilson either. So, and again, some of the biggest differences that you see here, right? The Maxxis tire is obviously a little different than the Evinco tires that we run here in the state of Texas. So, Maxxis tire, speaking of Reagan Seville a little bit yesterday, it's a little bit of stiffer tire. The rear tires as well, from a normal kind of 206 or 4-stroke, they use 6-inch rear tires, and they're usually spread out. You know, and these tires are a little bit harder than your regular Evinco blue tire. So speaking of Reagan Seville, it's just something that all these drivers have gotten to kind of get to grips with, right? And it's a spec class in the fixed gearing, and you can only really make setup adjustments. You can't, you know, work on the engine, you know, use different clutches, gear for that matter. So this is a true spec class that we have here for the first time this year, and really in the state of Texas for the first time ever.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I know kind of what they've done at the World Finals. At the World Finals, they give you 3 gears. You have 3 gears, that's all you can adjust with. So it'll be interesting how that goes. Obviously, the winner of the championship is going to get the ticket to go overseas to run at the T4 World Cup. We've had one champion. Noah Rosser a couple of years ago was able to win. Cameron Reed, one of our very young. She qualified on the pole position a couple of years ago, and she's been to the grand finals time and time again. This weekend, she's only taken part in the 206 senior category as well, with her running her operation under Reed Motorsports. A new look for them as well. But a couple of other drivers that we've seen throughout this preseason, John Paul Mokori, we've seen him in shifter. He's one of the, I should say, sophomore down in the division, was a rookie last year. And we talked a lot about him in the shifter class, right? When you look back to last year, he was the youngest in the division, fighting and driving against the likes of Aiden Rudolph, Jordan Musser, drivers who have, you know, Rudolph was the ultimate champion in the end, and Jordan Musser, you talk about his experience, the history that he has in shifter, and especially here in the state of Texas for him. And John Paul Mokori, no shifter this year, not enough entries for the class, but adding something new, adding something different, and giving a driver like John Paul Mokori an opportunity to still take part in regional events like this. Yeah, it'll be interesting what he can do, obviously, because he was running the shifter last year. This is single speed. It's a little bit faster than our normal racing strat that we see throughout the weekend, so it's a little bit faster, but still not as fast as the KA that most drivers need run nowadays. Yeah, and hand in the air there for John Paul Mokori. And he's on that straightaway. Not sure if he has some sort of issue. It certainly looks that way. He's slowing. And he's on the brakes here as well. I don't know if he's trying to reposition himself or if that's a true mechanical issue here for John Paul. Just went down and look at the motor. It could be an issue with the motor now. Yeah, and it could be something for sure for John Paul Mokori. A couple of other drivers here. Doug Foxworth, after years, he's usually too busy running the McCrone Motorsports operation like he was to start off the year, and now get an opportunity to come out here and race this weekend. We're excited to see him. Davis Henry as well made his first Pro X30 start at the start of the year. He's in the 514. Ted Norman as well there in the 519. David Aya, he's a driver who was in KA Senior last year. He's taking part of this T4 class with the checkered flag flying. Another the 500 of Reagan Seville, who was able to be better than the rest. 3/10 over David Aya, John Paul Mokori, and Joe Bechtold. And Davis Henry to cross the line in your top 5. Foxworth, Tagaccione, Regatas with no time, and as well for Norman, as well not able to get out there in the 519. So 9 drivers, and into the pits.
Reagan Seville on the pole for the heat races later on today.
¿No me viste? Me tiene diciendo, vamos, te ayuda.
Our youngest class afield year after year brings us more new drivers, more new faces as well to take part of this class. 10 drivers total joining us here this weekend with Jax McCullum out of Montgomery, Texas with the Allen Rudolph Racing Academy in the number 8, Dallas Broussard, Ian Chaparro, Sullivan Bowden, Xander Lorang, Mustafa Muhammad. Maverick Reddick returns here this weekend in the 75 for Kurt CRG USA. Beckett Boudreaux, the 95, Grayson Hollis, and Anderson Maxwell. Your 10 drivers that are joining us here for the opening round. And 10 drivers that are joining us here for the opening round. And again, we've heard from a lot of these drivers. We've heard a lot from Reddick to start off the year. We've seen him. We saw him last weekend over at the Spring Nationals at Kid Karts North America, and as well when we were over in Florida for the start of that championship at FOKC and a couple of others. And for these young drivers, the others in this field, this class kind of ranging from 5 years old to upwards of 7 to 8 years old, kind of what you see in this Kid Kart class, the entry level to our sport. And this is where it all starts, right? From a lot of drivers, this is where you learn the fundamentals of racing. This is where you kind of fall in love with the sport, right?
Yeah, this is where a lot of the drivers will be starting. This is obviously a great starting point. Obviously, we see guys like Maverick Reddick. He's already started testing in a micro, which is a faster go-kart, which is going to help him in this class carry more speed through the corners in the bridge.
And it's different, right? We talk about kind of moving up, and I was speaking to a couple of parents yesterday of that difference, the differences of kind of being in this Kid Kart class and then moving up to Micro Swift, and even the likes of a 206 cadet, right? You really, it's flat out the entire time in the Kid Kart class, and you're really just learning racing lines. That's kind of the fundamentals, right? When you go to a new track, you learn the racing line first before anything else, and then you start pushing the limits. Then you start testing braking points and, you know, when to hit the gas midway through the corner and all these technicalities of racing. And you get that when you go up to 206 Cadet and the Microswift division. But in Kid Kart, it's about learning racing lines and learning how to race, you know, going side by side, wheel to wheel, making passes just like this, like we're seeing out of Lorang in the 31, who's racing for High Five Performance this weekend. But you're going to see a lot of this, right? This is the entry level, and this is, I think, for me, one of my favorite classes to see, and see these young drivers come out here and have a good time. That's the important part of taking parts of weekends like this and being part of something big, right? Going around, traveling. This weekend we're going, or this year I should say, we're going to New Orleans, Amarillo. We're going back to Crescent, and then back here to Speedsportz Racing Park. So this is, you know, for these young drivers, it's their entry to the sport and the start of what could be a long obsession for very many years. As we know, your dad, avid racer, and he's been doing that for all too long. But as we know, right, and as we say, another day in paradise for these kids, having a blast as well doing so.
Yeah, I can't imagine how much fun it is for them out there right now. Like, I obviously didn't get into karting until I was older. I didn't get into it until I was 15 or 16 years old. So seeing young kids like this go out there and have fun, I can't imagine what it would be like for them.
Yeah, and going up in high speeds as well. I'm not sure what the exact kind of mile per hour they're getting on that back straightaway. We'll definitely keep an eye on it here, but keep an eye on the times as well. With Sullivan Bowden currently fastest with a 1:16.689. Anderson Maxwell second. Maverick Reddick, Jax McCullum, Beckett Boudreaux, Xander Lorang, Ian Chaparro, Dallas Brazard, Grayson Hollis, and only one not out there on the racetrack. That's Mustafa Muhammad, who is set to go out in the 44. So he's not quite with us just yet. Hope to see him throughout the weekend. Nonetheless, though, and his group here kind of doing a little bit of drafting. Go ahead, Hunter.
Yeah, Anderson Maxwell just took P1 away now. Obviously, he didn't have the best year last year. Only P8 in the championship.
Yeah, and again, you get that, right? Learning and coming back and applying that experience learned from year one, and as well going to the track here in Texas. We have the luck of not getting snowed out throughout those winter months, even though we did have a freeze when you look back to Rotax. But those cold months, it's time for these drivers to go out and race. It was kind of so it did get cold here in the Houston area, but nonetheless, like you said, right, experience for the 19 and applying it here in 2026. Look at the times, and it's a 10th currently what separates our top two, as the 97 there of Grayson Hollis continuing to go back and forth with the 11 of Dallas Broussard. Checkered flag flies, and Sullivan Bowden still fast, as we'll have to wait for him to cross line, see if he got the checkered flag or not. A couple of more. Mav Reddick still set to cross. So this could change here. Sullivan Bowden there is currently on the provisional pole, 1:16.122. We'll see if anybody can go faster. Still a couple of more getting set to cross the line now out of the boot. Here's another one of the CRGs, Ian Chaparro, only 6th. So that should be good enough for Sullivan Bowden to take the pole position in 206 Kid Kart. KA Jr now starts their qualifying session. This class, not split, but again, it does have a good number. And to start off the year, this is, again, what we deem one of the most competitive classes that we do have on the year. And you're seeing it right here, right? All drivers wanting to reposition themselves. And when you look at it, 30 entries have joined us here for the opening round. The likes of Tyrone Kemper Jr., who we saw at the SCUSA Winter Series, fought for a title there. Nathan Golseth, the, I guess, reigning and current KA100 Jr champion, the most recent one over at the SCUSA Winter Series. Alex Chandler, we've seen a whole lot of him to start off the year. Luke Cruz returning here this year with TV Kart and John Burke Racing, a new operation for John Burke. We sit on the fence lines this week, this year, I should say, and take part of what's a new project for him. Carson and Mason Berry returning. We've seen a lot of Mason. I haven't seen much of Carson to start off the year, and that's a return for the 810. Who's been busy with school, playing football, lacrosse, and the like, joining brother back this weekend at the Texas Sprint Racing Series. There's Chandler looking to make a move on Cruz, but again, drivers wanting to reposition themselves here early on in this qualifying. And again, if it's important in a class with 16, like we talked about this morning in Micro Swift and in Mini Swift, it's that much more important in a class with 30 drivers plus. And with how competitive the level is this year, and KA100 Jr with 30 plus, you really cannot afford to waste even a lap.
No, you really can't. The more laps you can put down, the better it's going to be, the better chance you're going to have to get that pole position. You know, we look at drivers like Easton Cox. Easton Cox had a great run at the first round of the Winter Series, I believe.
Yeah, the opening weekend, he was able to get his first national victory for himself, and for his team. It wasn't his team's first national victory, but for High Five Performance as well was another victory for them. And again, seeing a driver like that, having that now national experience of being at the front, leading races, and you know, wanting to stay there when you come back to the regional scene, this is something good for Easton Cox to get himself now in the conversation for maybe a championship where nobody has really been able to deny Tyrone Kemper Jr. since his rookie year. You look back to 2 years ago, Tyrone Kemper moving up to this division and able to win the championship in the last round and almost really the last corner, able to get by on Nathan Golseth, where he was able to take the #1 plate for 2025, and he took it again last year. Pretty much uncontested. David Ibarra was right there with him. They were kind of trading blows in the championship in a technical DQ for Ibarra, who's now in the senior ranks and now racing open wheel as well in the F1600 division over at SCCA across the nation. He finds himself, Kemper now found himself with 2 back-to-back championships in the division, and he's back for a 3rd year, right? But he's already kind of been successful in this class, so for him, there's nothing to lose, and he's actually doing double duty this weekend. New challenge for him in the 206 Junior. They loved their first experience over at Kid Karts North America at the Grand National Championships last year, and this year looking to take it here to the regional scene. So Kemper returning here this year. We saw him at SCUSA for the Winter Series, and we talked about him and his championship hopes, but again, this field definitely going to be one to keep an eye on anywhere you go, really. KA Jr. always exciting, always keeps us on the edge of our seats here, Hunter.
Yeah, especially what we do in qualifying. Like, if we look at SCUSA Winter Series, it was mind games and playing games the whole qualifying session. Going down the white line, letting people go by, then getting in line. No one wanted to lead the pack at Winter Series. We look here, Jackson Baldus, perfectly fine leading the pack.
Yeah, and he's doing a good job so far. He currently finds himself inside the top 10. He's in 8th. Nathan Golseth currently sits P1 overall, fastest on the provisional pole position with a 55.201. And this group might just get there in time. They're not going to get the checkered flag. This first group going to get another lap. The cutoff is going to be a little bit further back when the time runs out in just about 5 seconds. So checkered flag flies for a couple, and that's the group that's currently further back. So everybody on screen right now going to get one more lap. Orbezo able to go up to 8th. Clayton Stiles tonight. Jackson Baldus still in 10th. And this is what you can't afford, right? You can't afford all too much of this. Likes there of Easton Cox and a couple of others. But Tyrone Kemper Jr. chasing down Jackson Baldus, getting his draft. He just has to hope he doesn't catch him a little too early in this lap. Might lose maybe a 10th, half a 10th here. Just being behind him, having a break a little bit earlier than Jackson Baldus. But this could be a pole position lap for Tyrone Kemper Jr. He's able to just keep enough room as 2 of them get together. That's Easton Cox and Mason Berry into the wall. But across the line, Kemper doesn't improve. He's only 6th. We see these two drivers just not happy with each other. Chandler, second. Tucker Tree, Mason Berry, Aston Wyatt. Your top 5 here in the first qualifying session. And you see it here. Easton Cox is not happy there with Mason Berry as they were both looking to center in a lap. And they were going back and forth throughout the entirety of that lap. But to close things off, Nathan Golseth, a championship to start off the year at the SCUSA Winter Series, returns here this weekend to the Texas Sprint Racing Series and the 823 fastest of them all.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month. Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and 0 sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Who the is Kyle Cuthbertson? Doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson through on Turney. Turney in the dirt.
On to the racetrack now, 206 Senior. And again, and after doing the math, after doing the rankings as well, this is what we are deeming the most competitive class here this weekend. And again, that's solely due to the numbers, to the championships, to the Grand National Championships of this driver right here. Cale Zimmerman making his first start in the state of Texas, a 608. And when you talk about the last kind of couple of months, the last 5 months, if you will, the most popular driver in North America in 4-cycle racing has been the 608 of Cale Zimmerman. Won the Grand National Championship last year, sat out the Winter Nationals for Cup Country North America, was actually behind a camera working for us. And when you go to the second round of their national schedule, they're all one-offs, but you go to that second round, last weekend at the Spring Nationals at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, Cale Zimmerman victorious in senior medium, and now got the call from VLR, from Miranda, to come race here this weekend with Over Under Racing, the VLR dealer here in the state of Texas, and I guess you could say down south or southwest, if you will, a little bit more southwest than where they find themselves with Colin Warren, TS Racing over in Florida. But that being said, new opportunity for Cale Zimmerman, a new racetrack, and again, another opportunity to come away on the top step of the podium. But it's not going to be easy. We've talked a lot about the state of Texas and the drivers that it's produced. Jackson Young, one of the youngsters here on a Coyote machine there. The Ferguson Truck Center finds himself as one of the drivers that a lot of people have had, and one of the names that's kind of been popping around is he's been the driver that people have been chasing this weekend, and other drivers have been chasing. The same for Josie Chambers, who's right behind him, currently sitting third. And how can you not mention the 617 of Bryce Frank for the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy, and for Bryce Frank Racing, along with Carter Kilgo, a driver who we've seen more and who's had great pace throughout the national ranks over at Kid Karts North America. So this class and this field really going to keep us on the edge of our seats for the entirety of the weekend, Hunter.
Yeah, it's going to keep us on our edge of our feet, but we're also forgetting about a great driver, Reagan Seville. Fell short 2 years in a row of the championship. You know he wants that this year.
And again, speaking of Reagan Seville, throughout the weekend and really after last year, he always kind of looks back to these opening rounds, right? Looks back to the early stages, to the heats, where it just really wasn't able to come his way, right? And again, you look at those early rounds with bad luck, mishaps, maybe DNFs, maybe a couple of heat races, dropping points here and there in a class that's so close for 5 rounds and for the season. You can't really afford, you know, a DNF really when everybody else and all your other competitors are going to be up there at the front and you know they're going to be competitive. But Reagan Seville, 7-time champion here at the Texas Sprint Racing Series throughout, whether you call it Kid Kart, Cadet, Junior, but just hasn't been able to get one in the senior ranks. And after 2 years of trying, last round last year, Christopher McKeithen, only 1 year into, well, one really season, one shot at it, and he was able to get it. They're not here with us this weekend. Samuel Young sporting the livery there on a Coyote, but nonetheless, Reagan Seville going to be hungry for his first senior Texas Sprint Racing Series championship here this weekend.
Yeah, he's going to be wanting it for sure, but as we were watching Reagan, KA Zimmerman goes back to the top of the board, the reigning Grand National Champ and Spring National Champ last weekend. He wants it again.
Yeah, KO now following behind Jackson Young. And again, this is another year of experience and under the belt for Jackson Young in the 670 machine, so it gives him an opportunity this year to be one of the younger drivers in this field, if you will, to kind of break through and look for his first regional race victory here at the Texas Sprint Racing Series. And this should be the final time around with, as we're just hitting the 4-minute mark. Some drivers maybe won't get another lap, but for KA Zimmerman, he will. Young will as well. Kilgo, Seville, and the like. Frank, and a couple of more are. When we look at the times, Shelby Ramirez finds herself working her way up to 9th. Gabriel McLeod in 8th. Frank 7th. Samuel Young to Seville. That's the edge of your top 5. To Kilgo, who's 4th. Josie Chambers, Jackson Young, and KA Zimmerman currently on the provisional pole position. You go back a little bit further back to Rafael Kraus on the TV cart, sits in 11th. Riley Cunningham, Alexander Baer, Paul Braden, and Joe Bechtold, your top 15. But we're getting close here, and these two drivers on your screen, Jackson Young, KA Zimmerman, are going to be the first two to cross the line here, Hunter. And again, this is for the pole on all 3 of the heat races. Best seat in the house, leading the field to green. And Zimmerman just looking to hold on over Jackson Young, who's looking for 0.08 of a second. This time, checkered flag flies. Young across the line goes better than KA Zimmerman. Kilgo to the top. Carter Kilgo with a 102.085. And nobody really able to improve. Chambers only 4th. Seville, he's right here behind Samuel Young. Bechtold moves into the top 10. We'll see what Seville can do in the 600. Out of the boot, into the final corner, and getting ready to cross the checkered flag. Seville improves not enough. Young to 4th, and Carter Kilgo for the first time in his career is going to start on the pole position in 206 Senior.
Great run out of him right there. Obviously, he was fast all day yesterday, and he was even fast at Spring Nationals. But obviously, he got it done here in qualifying to get that P1 spot to start all the heat races.
Carter Kilgo, how about it? His first pole position at the Texas Sprint Racing Series. 206 Cadet now onto the racetrack. And again, this class, you're going to see a lot of double duty out of a lot of these young drivers, maybe some of the ones that are racing in Micro Swift and as well in the Mini Swift division. This one having 16 drivers total taking part here this weekend. Mace Lasek already with 1 pole position to his name to start off the day. He's in the 201. Again, Brian Rock Motorsports, Nayeli Vargas, Drew Blem, Aiken Bowden, as well as Mikey Todd returning here this weekend. Liam Haswell, Randy John III on his first start here at the Texas Sprint Racing Series. Dusty Strayer, Wyatt Schroeder, Brody Stoffel, Dutch Westbrook, Max Tucker, Houghton Buck, Marshall Steves, Lorenzo Avellino, and Sebastian Sampson, the 16 drivers that are taking part here of the opening round in 206 Cadet. And already after 1 lap, again, they're just building the temperature into the tires, getting everything up to speed, making sure everything's good. And now going to start to set in some fast lap times as we look in with Mikey Todd and Brody Stoffel. These two, a couple of months ago, we were in December, they won the annual reindeer run, an endurance race that goes on here at Speedsportz Racing Park. And you do it with teammates, and those two, they were teammates that weekend, and they were able to win. And now this weekend, each in their own kart, right, and racing against each other. But, they'll be working together just like they are doing so here in this qualifying session. They're currently chasing down the 265 there of Marshall Steves there. It looks like that's just a little bit ways up the road in the High-Fi Performance Texas machine. That being said, with the reigning champ, Aston Wyatt, moving up, gives an opportunity for new drivers to try and take away that Cadet Championship here this year.
Yeah, Brody Stoffel, the first guy that is still in this class, and he was third in the championship last year, so he wants it. And then you were talking about Mikey Todd. Mikey Todd's been fast all weekend long. He's going to be fighting with Brody Stoffel all weekend long for the championship this year.
And we'll see Todd came close a couple of times to putting himself on the podium, looking for it as well. Last weekend he was over at the Spring Nationals and was in the conversation throughout the weekend. Just, again, bad luck. Didn't go his way. And speaking to him early on in the week, he's like, yeah, just bad luck. But I learned a lot of taking part in an event like that. Was at the Grand Nationals last year. And, again, starting off the year at Kid Karts North America, putting himself now a little bit, I guess you could say, exposed to that national, to that next level that there is here in 206 Cadet. And bringing that back to this championship and seeing what you can take from there and apply it is one of the important things that we're seeing.
Yeah, and he's already took it to P1 on the board. He's trying to get around Marshall Steves right now. And then once he gets around him, he's got a little gap to Brody Stoffel. That might be a good lap right there if he can get around him.
Yeah, and that'd definitely be a good drafting opportunity on that back straightaway. Again, you talk about this 1/8 of a mile track. That back straightaway creates for a lot of passing opportunities in a turn number 6, which we're going to go all throughout the layout, all throughout the passing zones before we get into heat racing action. But that being said, this qualifying session is getting ready to come to a close. Just 40 seconds left on the clock. And Stoffel leads this field on the racetrack. On the timing sheets, it's Drew Blem in the 215, who's fastest overall, 102.009. With Stoffel in second, Liam Haswell, Mikey Todd. You were talking about him being fastest overall. A lap ago, he's now down in 4th, and that's how quickly it can change in this class. And now he's giving himself a little bit of room, a little bit more patience with Steves as well. But this group, bumper to bumper, nose to tail, with 4 or 5 drivers. Liam Haswell was right there. He's a driver who finds himself in 3rd in the 220. He's at the back of the pack. He might even be in the best position. But we're about to find out here as we exit the buckle. Brody Stoffel going to be the first one to get the checkered flag. And again, this last section, it's very easy to lose time if you're too close and following another driver. We'll see how they get through. Into the boot. Now Stoffel out. Good exit for him. The same for everybody else in line. This is going to be close here, Hunter. Across the line, Stoffel. What's the time look like for him? It's Mikey Todd. Drew Blem in the 215. Goes fastest overall, 101.829 for Drew Blem, who was 4th in line behind Todd. Improved to 2nd, Stoffel to 3rd, Haswell to Marshall Steves. That group of 5 is your top 5 here. And Drew Blem on the pole position for the heat races later on today. What a lap out of the 215. Just right there with Mikey Todd, everybody bumper to bumper, and just able to come away with it, able to improve That's a good lap out of Drew Blem.
I didn't think it was going to be that great. I saw him make a pass in turn 6 down after the long straightaway. I thought it was going to slow him down a little bit, but he reeled right up to Mikey Todd, and that saved his pass right there.
And there you go. There you see how close it was in between those top 5. Only 2/10 really separating them. And Drew Blem, this kid right here in the 215, going to start on the inside and on the pole position. Best seat in the house, if you will. Starting those heat races later on today. You see Haswell, Mikey Todd, giving him the round of applause, but yeah, what a laughter out of Drew Blem.
Hey, 7. Good job, Dusty. 7. Pushing your own hair. 8 more. Top job. Unlucky there with the pass. Oh, you didn't have any help. But we're there in the game. People around, you don't want to push them.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Who the is Kyle Cuthbertson? Doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson through on Turney. Turney in the dirt.
KA Masters and reigning champion in 2025. Well, the champion in 2025, the reigning champion here this year. Pierce Baldus returns 2 championships in a row in the Masters division. And this driver looking to make it 3 in a row. Returns with high 5 performance in LSR Motorsports. Baldus leads his field out onto the racetrack. Miguel Mir right behind him, 7-time Texas regional champion back when it was a Texas Pro Kart Challenge. And Texas Sprint Racing Series as well, so all kind of one and the same, but just different names, if you will. And Miguel Mir has won 7 of those, won 7 of them in a row until 2 years ago, where Pierce Baldus was able to deny him from his 8th. And we're just having this conversation, right, of drivers always getting that 7th, looking to get the 8th. And we can go time and time again with different drivers and different, if you will, movies. Lightning McQueen, only 7 Piston Cups. Michael Schumacher, only 7 F1 championships. Jimmy Johnson, 7 NASCAR championships. Lewis Hamilton, 7. You can throw in Miguel Mir with those names, right? Only 7, not really able to get that 8th. Why the 8th is kind of hard to come about, who knows in racing.
You know he's going to want it this year, though.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be interesting what he can do. Obviously, he was fast all year. So we'll see what he can do throughout the weekend and the rest of this year to try to get that number 1 plate back to himself.
Yeah, this is, again, a year where I really talk back to last year. In the last couple of years, Miguel Mir found himself on really a drought where he wasn't able to win. And then you go back to Amarillo last year, it was a return to glory for him, if you will, where he was able to get back with the sun setting throughout the West Texas horizon out in Amarillo. We're expecting a return this year. But again, Mir was able to return to victory lane, put himself in the conversation for the championship, and just fell short in the end when we went to the Dallas Karting Complex. Baldus was able to go back to back, but again, Miguel Mir, a little different colors for him this weekend. We're used to seeing him with Cruz Racing Development on the regional scene. This year with Adrian Cruz moving on, focusing on college. Miguel Mir taking to what he knows, right? Orslon Racing, you've seen him on the national level with that team for a good number of years after a stint with Crosslink competition, and now finds himself with Orland Racing Texas, joining Jonathan Monk and the entire operation, which is really the same staff, the same core group that you see on the national level, just bringing it here to a little bit of a smaller scale, and Mir finding home to that with the mechanics that he works with, and team managers, if you will, that he works with, and now being comfortable, almost like being at home, if you will, and it's a little bit of uniformity for him when you look at the national scene and the regional scene that he's taken part for many, many years.
Yeah, and he was doing pretty good at Winter Series this past year. He was inside the top 5 for most of the weekend, just wasn't able to quite get to that top 3 and get a win throughout the Winter Series. So he's going to want it now, being back at this track, he wants a win here.
Oh, for sure, and he's going to be looking for it. Right now, he's looking for a pole position over Pierce Baldus. Luckily for Mir, he's just using all that clean air, using all that draft right behind him. And a couple of other new faces, not a new face in the Texas Sprint Racing Series, Nicholas Bull, who's currently in 6th, and it's a little bit different for him, right? We saw the IMSA racing driver put himself in the shifter class last year, did a lot of laps there, and was always one of the competitors. And this year in KA Masters, spoke to Hugh and Jeffrey, team manager, and said, yeah, Nick just kind of struggled that first session, right? He drove the KA like a shifter, but after the weekend went on, and after yesterday, that first practice day, because it's only one practice day here, and then straight into Saturday and Sunday into official sessions, where he was able to kind of come into his own towards the latter half of the day yesterday on the Friday, and able to kind of really understand this 100cc package.
Now we have on screen Mr. Shane Burkett, obviously from the Louisiana area, always fast when we go to Knoll Motorsports Park. So we're going to be interested to see what he can do here this weekend, see if he can't get up to that top step. Obviously last year, he finished qualified 3rd and was right on the edge of the top 5. Just close, just wasn't quite able to get a win.
Yeah, and here we go with the checkered flag flying. Couple got it. I'm not sure if Bull was able to cross in time, but Miguel Mir, Pierce Baldwin's going to have another lap. When you look at the times here, Hunter, it's changed a little bit up at the top. Kogan Wright, still Miguel Mir, with Daniel Howie now working his way up to 2nd. Baldus 3rd, Burkett, Pergande, the drivers that are inside of the top 5. Bull currently sits outside, he sits in 7th. Wright in 6th, Wynn down in 8th, Stewart to Scott Cherry, your top 10. But this is Miguel Mir's closing rate has been alarming to Pierce Baldus. So for only 3rd for the reigning champ, and I don't think he's going to go any better. And I'm not sure if Mir will either. He just caught him on their way into the boot. Checkered flag on a fly, though. We'll see if anybody else can improve. Hands in the air. Nothing out of the top 5. Miguel Mir. Could this be the year? What a way to start it for the 477. Looking for the 8th in 2026. Round number 1 pole sitter for the 3 heat races later on today. engines fire for 206 Jr. And you look at this field just roaring their way onto the racetrack this weekend with 20 drivers taking part. And again, a couple of new faces, not to our platform, but a couple of new faces to the class. Aston Wyatt taking part of his first start as a junior at the Texas Sprint Racing Series here in the 206 Junior class. Leads his field onto the racetrack on his AR Academy barrel art. Behind him, Sawyer Chambers. We saw him last year fight and contest for that championship here, Hunter. And I believe able to come away with it in the end as well in his first year of asking.
He did. He did get the championship last year. He got it just barely by around 45 points around. So he got the edge. He wants to do it back-to-back though. He wants another one.
And he's going to be looking for, right? That's what a lot of these are. We talked about Tyrone Kemper Jr., right, in the KA Junior class, going back-to-back in that championship, third year. We're going to go 3 in a row, just still too young. Kemper moved up, I believe, at the age of 11 into the KA Junior class, and at 13, still too young to kind of get that waiver to race in the senior ranks. So going to take part here this weekend. He's actually on the racetrack as well here in the 206 Junior class. So good to see the 377 for twice as many times we did get to see him last year, and it's also something new for him, right? A new discipline, if you will, driving style, a little bit different than the 100cc package. I mean, you talk about how smooth you have to be on the steering wheel. Hunter, you were racing last week, and you're kind of fresh off the seat. Talk about qualifying sessions like this, right? Having to follow, and again, from what you're used to over at CKNA, not able to push, not able to do this. But again, it's also maybe a little bit beneficial, would you say?
I would honestly rather be able to push someone like this, just because you can be on someone's bumper and you can get a good draft pushing someone around the track. You're going to be maybe like a tenth slower if you get set up good, maybe like 6 car lengths back and reel them in on that, maybe like a tenth to 2 tenths slower than just pushing someone. So you're not really losing too much time. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do. Obviously, you have Aston Wyatt moving up. You have Clayton Stiles moving up. Alex Chandler also moving up. A lot of the guys that were in the championship last year in 206 Cadet are now in this. Obviously, Aston Wyatt's out front right now, and he's sitting in P2 with Sawyer Chambers in P1.
Yeah, so that's, again, like you said, this is working out perfectly for these two drivers. Sawyer Chambers, Aston Wyatt, pushing each other along, and the driver in third, Clayton Stiles. This is a name that we have heard a whole lot to start off the year, a driver that you've worked with as well. And Coach, when I look back at last year, right, Amarillo, it was a night and day difference to how he started the weekend to how he ended it on the top step of the podium in 206 Cadet. Talk about the driver in the 337 and his progression, and now the mindset coming into a junior division.
You know, coaching drivers in a Briggs, big thing is a lot of these guys try to hold the brake when you turn in, and you can't do that. The car just wants to go straight, and it starts binding up the cart, and the cart won't rotate. So big thing is getting off the brake before you turn in and just letting the cart roll through the corner. It's all about carrying speed and being smooth on the wheel. If you start getting choppy and making mistakes, in a Briggs, you notice it a lot more than you do in a KA. Obviously, a KA, you have more power to pull you out of your corner if you do make a mistake. Briggs, you bog that motor down, is a whole lot longer to get up to speed again.
And this side-by-side action here, you can definitely assume, right, you're going to be seeing a lot of that with drivers having to take evasive lines and different lines. And Clayton Stiles, that driver there, finds himself just in that mix, kind of stuck, right, not really able to make headway, and he's going to look for a pass now into turn number 6, and we'll see a lot of that this weekend, preferably in racing action rather than qualifying, but you're going to see a lot of that there, maybe out of Clayton Stiles and maybe out of a couple of others as well. This time they're rolling through, and lap time, Sawyer Chambers, 103.227 at Aston Wyatt's, who's only 0.02 of a second back from Chambers, so second for Wyatt, Stiles in third, and he's in this group. So now with clean air, we'll see what he can do. Gene Guerrier, Levi Meter, Vargas to Orbezo, Miller, Kemper Jr., Thomas Smith, your top 10. And 30 seconds just about remain. And the top changes once again for Aston Wyatt and Sawyer Chambers. Wyatt fastest. And here comes Nico Orbezo in the Iron Rock Motorsports Tony Kart to 338. Fastest overall, 103.090.
Nicholas Orbezo, someone we really don't see that often in a Briggs & Stratton. He's more of a KA guy. Obviously, he did great in this Winter Series running over at Rock. He got 2 wins out over there, I believe, up front here in KA when he was here for the Winter Series. And he's back up top in the Briggs now.
And this is something different for Nico Orbezo, right? He was, I believe, one of the first times that really saw him kind of take part in the 206 class was last year whenever he went over to the IKF Grand Nationals at K1 Circuit and then returned here at Dallas Karting Complex and raced in this package right here and finds himself now on the pole position, and he's doing that all on his lonesome, really. Chased down that group he's now kind of left to the wayside and putting in these laps on his own, and that's, you know, kind of unheard of in a class that you talk about draft dependent, you talk about that engine. It also gets into a different rev range when you go through it. But Chambers was able to go better, or Bezo doesn't improve the last time around. Wyatt in second. And there's going to be more movers inside of the top 10, like Alex Chandler up to 9th. Styles only 10th. But through it all, Chambers crossed the line with Aston Wyatt, and those two worked flawlessly together. Only a 3,000th of a second difference in between Chambers and Aston Wyatt. The 325 is going to start on the pole position later on today. Coming up next, KA100 Sr.
It's like on even higher pressure.
Champions aren't just born on the kart track. At SimShop, we deliver professional-grade simulators with the best performance-to-price ratio in the industry. Founded by racers who understand what you need, our SimMagic and Moza equipment is powerful enough for the pros, yet affordable for everyone. With unmatched customer support and a thriving community, we're your racing partner. Visit simshop.com today.
Hey guys, I'm Chris G. I'm Kart Chaser's driver fitness coach, and today I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to strengthen your shoulders for more endurance and better stability in the kart. Here we go. Okay, so exercise number 1 is the front rope pull-through cable raises. Okay, now this is the upright cable row. What you are doing here is you're picking a straight bar, as you see, and we're working the side areas of our shoulders, the medial. Exercise number 3, the dumbbell shrugs. As you guys can tell, I like to pause at the top before releasing. It's great for your strength, for that wheel stability. It's great for those shoulders and that upper back area. Chris G coaching, race-ready training that carries into real life. That's what we do here. See you on the next one.
Well, here we go. KA100 Sr presented by Kart CRG USA hits the racetrack. And originally this class was supposed to be split, and I think is split. We have, sorry, not split. Originally on the schedule, that's what it said. And again, we did split junior, so with 30, deeming that it's a good number to have them all out there on the racetrack on, or at the same time, I should say. So we start things off. First couple of laps underway. And a couple of drivers returning. Joey Dome returns here this weekend in senior. Haven't seen him since his junior days. Landon Skinner, pole position at the SCUSA Winter Series. Very, very impressive run for Skinner and a couple of other drivers. But this is a return as well for Diego Guillo. We haven't seen much of him. He's been busy with or was busy in the last 2 years with a busy USF junior schedule. Now this year getting ready to focus on college, and we're going to return back to where it all started, right back to karting. We only really got him for 1 year in the senior ranks, so we got Diego Guillo with us now and got him with us here this weekend. Ahead of him, Justin Music and a couple of others joining us here, but nobody has really been able to go that much better than Jose Carlos Hernandez. I tell you who will, Dallas Dunlap in the 941. Able to go to the top, and this is all going to change. Juan Jose Paramo. And when you talk about this class, right, you don't have the same familiar faces, the same 5 faces that we saw year after year, time and time again. They've all moved on, all working in and around the paddock, taking part of something else, new projects for them. And this gives an opportunity to new drivers, new faces to put themselves to the top. And unfortunately for Cohen Summers, on his debut weekend with their family operation, Skeptic Motorsports, it's going to end a little bit too early. He's into the pits in only 11th. But how about Dallas Dunlap getting himself up there? Juan Jose Paramo, Peyton Phillips as well, his first weekend on the TB kart in that operation, racing for John Burke, the driver who was leading the charge for the TB karts last year, Hunter.
Yeah, John Burke was leading the charge, but Landon Skinner goes right back to the top. Obviously, he was super fast at races last year. I'm expecting a lot out of him this year. I really think he's going to be our championship contender this year.
And he just might be. Last year, you look at Skinner in the 917, bad luck, weekend after weekend. Amarillo with a valve stem issue. And he had to work all the way to Crescent to get his first win in the senior ranks after about a year and a half of trying. And now this year, year 3, looking hopeful for that first championship. And again, maybe one of the favorites, if you will, but how could you deny a driver like Jose Carlos Hernandez and his proteges, if you will, like Juanjo Paramo, who's just been fast, blazing fast to start off the day here. There's a reigning champ. There's the number 1 plate, Jose Carlos Hernandez. And I think, unfortunately for him, he's going to have to push. He's going to have to hustle to get over to the stripe if he wants to get another lap, and he just might get it with 10 seconds left to spare. Jose Carlos is going to get another one, and you look at movers. Skinner's up to second. Jose Carlos now gets himself up into the second spot, a 54.716. And it's in Orsolin Racing, Texas, 1-2 with Skinner in third, Dunlap in fourth, and Peyton Phillips currently in your top 5.
You know, we were talking about Peyton Phillips being on a TV go-kart. Person in P7 right now, Jake French, he is now on a Sodi kart. He hasn't been on a Sodi kart since 2019, I believe, when he was with DKC running shifter, where he won a SCUSA Pro Tour championship. So he's back with Sodi. He was on factory kart for the past 2 to 3 years, and then he had a stint with Braille before that, running pro shifter with them. He's sitting in P7. I don't believe he got another lap, though. I think everybody else got a lap besides him.
Yeah, I don't think so. French going to be into the pits, but here's everybody else. Here's Paramo. Jose Carlos has another lap. Landon Skinner, you saw Peyton Phillips. He was going to close it off early. Dunlap, no improvement. Gage Bailey, rookies inside of the top 5. Does anybody improve? Nobody goes better. And Juan Jose Paramo, you could almost call it safe, is going to get his first pole position in senior racing action for Orsolin Racing, Texas. And you talk about a rebrand for the team, and the first time that Orsolin Racing is in the regional market, they go 1-2 to start off the year. Landon Skinner in third, Dallas Dunlap, Gage Bailey, your top 5. How about a rookie for Trackside Karting Services, putting himself inside of the top 5 over Peyton Phillips, only 6th on his debut on the TB kart. Jake French in 7th, Music to Duran to Ethan Gonzalez. How about that? Another new face inside of the top 10. But Juan Jose Paramo on the pole for Orsolin Racing. Well, there you guys have it. That's the first half of the day, and that concludes our free coverage here for the opening round, the opening weekend of the Texas Sprint Racing Series. For those of you in the paddock, the activities still continue at about 11:30, starting the TSRS Driver Suit Showdown going on grid. First 15 drivers to show up will be automatically entered into the Driver Suit Showdown. You got a clean suit, you got a good-looking one, bring it down a grid at 11:30. A lot of prizes getting set to be given away. First place, a full-size kart bodywork kit. And again, we know how quickly it could be throughout a race weekend to run through maybe front bumpers, if you will, side pods, rear bumpers, you name it. Second place, $100 TSRS credit. And for third place, $50 TSRS credit. You want to win a free set of bodywork? Come down to the grid at 11:30. And the first 15 drivers to show up with their suits will be entered into the Driver Suit Showdown. For myself, Caleb Yeska from Hunter Bolton, we'll see you in about an hour and a half's time to get ready to go racing at the Texas Sprint Racing Series. Enjoy your lunch, and we'll be right back with some more.
Welcome to the future of kart race preparation, Kart Sim Pro North America. Featuring laser-scanned North American kart circuits and precision-tuned kart physics developed using real telemetry, dyno and tyre data, Kart Sim Pro North America delivers the most advanced and realistic kart simulation experience available today. Whether you're training for race day, refining your lines, or shaving tenths off your personal best, Kart Sim Pro gives you pro-level insight without leaving your home. Trusted by world champions, coaches, and karting enthusiasts alike, this is where virtual practice translates into real-world performance. Experience the thrill, the challenge, and the edge. Kart Sim Pro North America. Use code CHASER20 to get 20% off today.